Tell the king he smells like...
Look what I have for ye.
Blimey, what a sight!
Aye, truce for that!
Hops and goat urine.
And it tastes even worse.
Refreshing change from that wench I was married to. I should have banged her.
If you're innocent, shit away!
There was once a time when the horizon meant possibility.
I'm tired of this shit. This place is boring.
A time when men and women looked at maps, saw blank spaces, and did not say, "That's impossible." They said, "Let's go." That was the outlaw spirit of the Golden Age. Not merely piracy, not romanticized rebellion for rebellion's sake, but something deeper. A mentality.
I would rather shave the king's balls than stay on this godforsaken island for the rest of my life.
Tell the king he smells like fan, feet, ass, and nuts! How dare you, you scoundrel! Blasphemy! You will pay for this insult!
A refusal to accept the boundaries imposed by institutions, kings, corporations, and traditions. A belief that systems were not sacred, that rules could be challenged, that authority had to earn respect, not demand it. And today, that spirit is fading. Modern society has become sterile, overregulated, overmanaged, overdependent on permission. We are taught to comply before we are taught to question. To fit in before we are taught to think. To seek approval before we seek truth. And the result? A culture of hesitation. A civilization drowning in process, terrified of risk, addicted to comfort, and suspicious of anyone who dares to challenge the machine. That is why modern society needs the outlaw spirit of the Golden Age, because reclaiming that untamed defiance is not nostalgia. It is strategy. It is survival. And it may be the key to restoring human potential in an age of conformity.
More grog, wench!
Hold your horses, you bilge rat!
Drink up, lads!
When people hear outlaw, they often imagine chaos, lawlessness, destruction, anarchy for its own sake. But that misses the point entirely. The true outlaw spirit is not about reckless disorder. It is about sovereign thinking. It is about understanding that systems are constructed, and anything constructed can be redesigned. The outlaw mindset asks, why must this be done this way? Who benefits from these rules? What happens if we challenge the assumption? Could there be a better path? That is not irresponsibility. That is intelligence. That is innovation. Every major leap in human progress came from someone willing to reject the accepted framework. Every breakthrough began as disobedience. Conformity creates efficiency, but unchecked conformity creates decay.
Only for you, my lady.
Then show me more.
As you wish.
The entrepreneur who leaves a secure job to build something new. The scientist who rejects prevailing theories. The artist who ignores trends. The reformer who confronts corruption. The inventor who refuses to accept limitations. These are modern outlaws, not criminals. They are creators, disruptors, architects of the future. The outlaw spirit is not anti-society. It is anti-stagnation. And society desperately needs that distinction. Because when people stop questioning systems, systems become self-protective. They prioritize preservation over progress. Bureaucracies expand. Innovation slows. Risk becomes taboo. And mediocrity becomes normalized. How often do we hear, "This is how it's always been done"? That phrase has killed more potential than failure ever could. It is the anthem of complacency, the shield of weak leadership, the excuse used to avoid uncomfortable change. And when entire cultures embrace that mindset, they become vulnerable. Because the world does not reward static thinking. It rewards adaptation. The companies that fail are the ones that cling to legacy systems. The governments that collapse are the ones that refuse reform. The individuals who stagnate are the ones who prioritize security over growth.
No worries, mates. I planned for this. That barrel has fermented watermelon, hops, and goat urine. The governor will hate it and never demand another barrel again. Genius, Cap. Serves him right.
Conformity may feel safe.
Something just isn't right with this new rum.
But safety can become a prison.
Ugh, this rum smells awful.
And it tastes even worse!
Cap'n, a sample of our rum. We need your expert opinion. Let's see what you got. Smooth, full body, to fine vintage. Thank you, Captain. To the finest crew on the seven seas, aye, and to many more treasures, and to our brotherhood. Bottoms up, lads. Cheers to that. And to no urine!
Modern life is built around dependency. Dependence on institutions, dependence on approval, dependence on algorithms, dependence on systems we barely understand. And while structure has its place, overdependence weakens the individual, because autonomy is a skill. And, like any skill, it must be practiced. The outlaw spirit demands radical autonomy. That means taking ownership of your choices, your education, your finances, your ideas, your time, your direction. It means refusing to outsource your thinking, refusing to let trends define your values, refusing to let authority substitute for personal judgment. In a regulated world, autonomy is not rebellion for its own sake. It is resilience. When systems fail, autonomous people adapt. When industries shift, autonomous people pivot. When institutions falter, autonomous people build alternatives. The more dependent society becomes, the more valuable independent thinkers become. Because freedom is not granted, it is maintained through competence. The outlaw spirit embraces risk, but not blindly, not recklessly, strategically.
Captain, do we know where we are going? We are sailing to the horizon. Beyond that, I have no clue.
I love your honesty, Captain. It's a refreshing change from that wench I was married to. I should have banged her.
Strategically, calculated risk is the engine of progress.
Men, the wind favors us today. To the horizon, for treasure and glory. For treasure! Hoist the sails, full speed ahead.
Every worthwhile endeavor involves uncertainty. Starting a business, changing careers, relocating, publishing an unconventional idea, investing in a vision before others understand it. These decisions require courage, but more importantly, they require tolerance for ambiguity. Modern society often conditions people to avoid uncertainty, to seek guarantees, to minimize exposure, to choose predictability over possibility. But excessive risk aversion creates fragility, because those who never test themselves never develop adaptability, and adaptability is the true currency of survival. The outlaw understands this. They do not chase danger for thrill. They leverage uncertainty as opportunity, because where others see instability, they see openings. And in rapidly changing environments, that mindset becomes a competitive edge.
Raise the sails, feel the breeze. We're bound to roam these restless seas. Sailing the seven seas.
Now, let's clarify something. When we speak of lawless creativity, we are not advocating harm. We are talking about freedom from conceptual limitations, the willingness to create outside accepted categories, to ignore outdated rules of what art, business, leadership, or success should look like. Lawless creativity is the refusal to be constrained by inherited templates. It is experimentation without apology. It is building what does not yet exist.
Larger cannons, heavier cannons, reinforced hull, stronger mainmast.
The greatest creators in history were often seen as disruptive because they violated expectations. They broke patterns. They introduced forms others had not imagined. And initially, they were resisted. That is the price of originality.
This new ship design is going to blast the bejesus out of the Royal Navy. I hope they give Davy Jones my regards.
Sterile conformity produces repetition. Lawless creativity produces evolution. In a world increasingly shaped by automation and standardization, creativity becomes one of the last frontiers of human distinction. and true creativity cannot thrive under excessive permission-seeking. It requires boldness.
That's perfect, Captain. Hold that pose while my artist sketches a selfie of you.
My love, the sea is calm.
With you, it always is.
Improvisation, defiance, the courage to make something that does not fit neatly into existing frameworks. A healthy society requires skepticism, not cynicism, not hostility, but informed questioning. Authority is necessary in many contexts, but authority without accountability becomes abuse, and accountability begins with citizens willing to challenge assumptions. Blind obedience is not virtue. It is vulnerability. History is filled with examples of institutions that were considered untouchable.
I did it on purpose, mate. I also shit myself. I want them to have a real mess to clean up after this.
Just individuals exposed flaws, corruption, or inefficiency. Progress depends on those willing to ask uncomfortable questions, to test claims, to demand transparency, to resist groupthink. Questioning authority is not antisocial.
Should I shit myself as well? If you're innocent, shit away!
It is pro-truth. And in an era of information overload, ideological echo chambers, and centralized influence, independent critical thinking is essential. The outlaw spirit does not reject leadership. It rejects unquestioned power.
I don't think I have much in me.
Give it all you got, mate! If you hurt something, it won't hurt in a few minutes!
That distinction matters.
Let's do this. That's the spirit!
The goal is not to romanticize the past. The golden age was imperfect, harsh, often brutal, but within it existed a mentality worth preserving, a refusal to settle, a willingness to venture beyond accepted limits, a fierce insistence on personal agency. That mindset can be adapted, not copied. We do not need literal outlaws. We need intellectual outlaws, entrepreneurial outlaws, creative outlaws, ethical disruptors, builders who see systems as improvable rather than inevitable. People who understand that tradition can inform us but should never imprison us. Because every institution, process, and norm exists because someone once designed it. And if it no longer serves human flourishing, it can be redesigned. That is the essence of progress.
What is in the pirate chest? Enough gold for you and your men to retire.
If he doesn't take the treasure chest, I'm gonna jizz on his pillow tonight.
Modern society does not need more compliance. It does not need more passive consumption. It does not need more people waiting for permission. It needs individuals willing to think independently, act boldly, and challenge complacency. It needs people who value freedom enough to develop the discipline required to sustain it. People who trade mindless obedience for intentional autonomy.
I guess our dinner plans have changed.
Aye, it appears so.
Who choose calculated risk over stagnant safety. Who create without apology.
You need a bath, you smell like shit.
Who question without fear. Who improve what others merely inherit. The outlaw spirit of the Golden Age is not about piracy. It is about possibility. It is about reclaiming the untamed edge of human potential. And in a world increasingly defined by systems, regulations, and conformity, that spirit may be the very force that keeps progress alive. So do not ask for permission to think differently. Do not accept, this is how it's always been done, as a final answer. Do not surrender your judgment to institutions, trends, or inherited assumptions. Chart your own course. Build your own map. And if necessary, sail beyond the edge of what others consider acceptable. Because history does not remember those who complied. It remembers those who changed the tides.